Stampers, it's Nancy from Stampin'shout. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This week I am creating with the Countryside Corners stamp set and coordinating dies. Also comes with pretty designer series paper and an embossing folder. So all this week I am doing videos. So I'll have 5 videos, 5 different projects, and 5 giveaways. So anyone who leaves a comment will be entered to win today's card. And I'll announce the winners on Monday's video. So today's card is a pretty little card, always in my heart. So the sentiment comes from lasting joy. And these sentiments fit really nice into all these little dies. So you'll see as we go along how I am using them. So one other piece of information. After the video, you can go to my website and I will have all of the dimensions, sizes, colors, supplies, shopping links, everything about today's card. I'm going to talk about the dies and I'm going to code them as die 1, die 2, die 3, die 4, die 5, die 6, and die 7. So die 1 will be the largest die. So if in my directions it says cut with die 1, that's the one that you would use. So I just wanted to make sure you got that information. So let's bring in today's supplies and get started. So I'm using white as my card base and crumb cake will be my matte piece. So the piece of crumb cake, I already ran through that pretty countryside embossing folder to give it texture. Then we're going to stamp on this white piece with our countryside stamp. So let me show you how that's going to work. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight, and this is one big stamp. So instead of trying to stamp on my ink pad, I'm going to stamp my ink pad on my stamp. So I'm just going to ink this all up. Then I'm going to center it on my piece of white. Now I'm going to cut that out with the largest die, which is die number 1, and I will be right back. So that's what it looks like. And just so you know, these dies can cut out all these different pieces in any different size you want, and you can have that pretty design in there. So you just lay the dies down and go ahead and cut, and you can do all different sizes of this stamp. So all this week you'll see different examples of that. So that was die number 1, and that's going to go like that. Now I'm going to bring in some designer series paper so you can see what that is, and I'm going to stamp on this first. Actually, I'm going to cut it out first because I want, and I'll show you what I mean, because I'm going to stamp right on this paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out with die number 2. So I started off with this 5 1/4 by 4 piece of designer series paper. I cut it out with die 2. And as you can see, the paper I'm using has these blank spots on there, where there's no printing. I'm going to stamp in there. So I'm going to stamp in my heart. And again, these sentiments are from lasting joy. So I'm going to ink this up in the Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to stamp right in the center, right there, in my heart. Then I'm going to bring in the stamp Always. And I'm going to stamp over here. And I'm going to stamp over here. Then on this next line, I'm going to bring back in the stamp in my heart. Actually, I'm going to do the middle first. I'm going to do Always. And then in my heart. And however it fits is going to be how it's going to be. So if it goes off a little bit, that's fine. But I think it's going to fit perfectly. Yep. So let me show you. So I stamped Always in my heart, and it's just continuing on, Always in my heart, always in my heart. So I thought that was so pretty. So let me bring in some ribbon. And then actually this is some older ribbon that I had. This is Misty Moonlight ribbon. And I am just going to cut a little piece. And then I'm going to tape it on the back. So it fits right down the middle there. Now I'm going to glue this piece to the piece we stamped. I'm going to add a bow to that, but I'm going to do that in a couple of minutes. I'm going to do some more stamping here. So I'm going to bring in a scrap of white, and I'm going to bring in the flower stamp again from Lasting Joy. So it's that flower right there. And I'm going to ink that up in Misty Moonlight. And then for the centerpiece, I'm going to use one of the smaller stamps in Boho Blue for the center. Just like that. Very pretty. So now I'm going to fussy cut this out, and then we'll finish our card. So our flower is stamped and cut out, and then I have some little sprigs. As you can see here, I've got different sprigs. So I have Night of Navy, White, and Crumb Cake. And I just went through my dies and I cut out whatever sprigs I could find. And these are from the Timeless Arrangements, but there are so many different dies out there, or punches, that you can create whatever, cut out whichever ones that you have. So now let's put this card together so I can put these flowers on. So I'm going to glue my crumb cake piece to my cardstock, and then our focal piece I'm going to pop up on Dimensions. So now I can put on my sprigs and my flower. The flower is going to go right in the center, and that is going to go on a dimension. And now I'm just going to layer my little sprigs, and I'm going to start with the Night of Navy first. So I'm just cutting them to fit. And I'm going to look at it first before I glue it. So it's going to be something like that. Now I got to glue all those little pieces down. What's nice about the Timeless Arrangements is these little sprigs all have a nice sturdy piece. Now I've cut them down for my example here, but that gives you something that you can glue on. So let me just glue all these down, and I'll fast forward. So I like the way that turned out. So with this popped up, it was easy for me to slide the little sprigs right underneath that flower. So let's finish the inside real quick. So I had this piece left over. I'm going to cut a strip and put it on the inside of my card. I'll be right back. So I'm going to glue my white piece to my matte piece and my little strip that I cut out to the white piece, and put that all on the inside of our card. So the inside's done. All we need to do is add our bow. So I'll do that with glue dots. So don't forget to leave your comments to be entered to win today's card. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, because I am doing videos Monday through Friday at noon. Just remember Nancy at noon. Well, I got to play with my bow a little bit more. But there are the 2 cards. So that's day 2. Make sure you come back tomorrow at noon and we'll have another card for you. And until then, don't be shy. Stamp and shout.